Welcome back in to another episode of To the Show Baseball Podcast, presented by Beyond the Monster. My name is Andrew Parker, and today's guest is Gabriel Rincones Jr. That's a name that is absolutely tearing up spring training right now. If you're tuning into any Phillies games or any Grapefruit League action for that sake, Gabriel Rincones Jr. is probably getting on base, hitting a ball over the outfield fence, or doing something productive for the Philadelphia Phillies this spring. So it was pretty fascinating to hear just inside his journey so far in spring training. Obviously, he is one of the Phillies' top prospects, and he's a young guy. His birthday was actually yesterday, so happy late birthday to Gabriel. But he received an NRI after competing in the Arizona Fall League this past year in 2024, and he's taking advantage of every opportunity he's getting. So he's trying to make a big league spot too with Philadelphia, and obviously that's a team that's competing for playoffs every single year this time of year. So, but yeah, I mean, and obviously, like always, if you're here right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you're consuming this, please hit that like button. Please give me 5 stars, subscribe to the YouTube channel, do what you got to do. Everything is very appreciated. But enough of me babbling, and without further ado, please enjoy this interview with one of the hottest hitters in spring training. All right, guys, I am here joined by Phillies prospect Gabriel Rincones Jr. and one of the hottest names right now in spring training for good reason, obviously with the bat. But Gabriel, I do kind of want to start this off. Obviously, hot start to start out the spring, coming off of a off season that included a fall league trip. But for you, how are you feeling right now?
Feel good. I feel pretty confident in the work that I'm putting in off off of the field, in the cages and stuff, working with Kevin Long, and even Kyle Schwarber has been nice enough to work with me and give me some of his tips, because K Long said that we have the similar deficiencies. When we get going bad, we have along the same bad tendencies. So I mean, that's been a product of just sticking with that and trusting the work that I'm putting in with them, and I'm just very happy to actually be able to put that in practice.
And obviously, you're kind of showing off the power right now. And I know that we were kind of just joking off air a little bit. I know that the MLB app gave you another home run today, but it wasn't true. But you still, I think you still got an RBI knock today, if that
Yeah.
was accurate. Hopefully. But you had the 2 home runs already earlier in the week, and I guess for you, is this part of your game that you're kind of excited that people are starting to see?
Yeah, man. I'm always looking for an extra edge, and some people are saying I can't run or I can't hit it to the left or whatever it is. Even if it's I have to make it up so that I can play with a little bit more of emotion. I love that stuff, but it's also really really nice to have people like acknowledge me for some of the things that I do good or that I'm doing good. That's definitely a good feeling.
You kind of name dropped a few guys earlier in regards to Kyle Schwarber, and obviously you've been around a lot of the big league guys as you're an NRI this spring. But for you, what is that experience like? Just getting to having a locker next to these guys, getting to pick these guys' brain, take BP with them. I guess what has that experience been like for you?
It's one that I don't want to take for granted, because um, for whatever reason, if you don't learn from that, it's a very it's a very good time to just kind of emulate those guys now that you have them right there with them. They're pro guys, like they're real professional, disciplined about their work, and that says something as to why they're in the league for so many years. Nick Castellanos is going on to his 12th, 11th year. Like, I mean, it's not by accident. So, um, even if I wasn't playing good, it's a privilege on its own. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, and your off season as well was pretty short. With your stint down in Arizona, and
playing there in Glendale. So for you, I guess leaving the fall league and kind of going into the off season and going into receiving the NRI here and for big league camp, like what kind of things did you have a chance to, I guess, kind of work on the off season? Like, was it one of those things where you were kind of working out some kinks and some things that you wanted to get your swing right, whatever it was, or was it more of like, okay, I got a short off season, I just need to chill out?
I like my off seasons kind of short. At least I have in the past. These last two that I've had. The first off season I had was seemed a little long, even though I did go to the fall league also. Um, but this one was a little shorter, and I kind of like it like that. But I just focus more on strength training. The off season, it's like you have a chance to improve your physicality a little bit more than it was last year. Whether it be you have to put on a couple pounds or lean out a little bit, like if like that stuff matters too, even though it's only like 5%. But the off season's the time to do it. And I worked out at Suga Club and with Jack Haglione and some other guys that go there. Um, but I mean, working out with him, it's you got to bring your A game in the weight room because we're pushing each other and we're both pretty big guys. I mean, there's no slacking off there. And hitting wise, like nothing really. I just keeping a clear mind and more so preparing mentally of the things that I did wrong last year and the ways that I was pressing and the way I was thinking and changing my swing, and it's just that's not sustainable. It's not professional. It was off season was just getting my discipline and mental in the right spot where I can just maintain something consistent.
And so last year, I feel like was, kind of unfortunate for yourself as, you spent some time on the injured list and missed out on a little bit of the season there. And I guess going in, obviously you getting some reps in the fall league and going into your off season, like, was that a point of emphasis for you of like, okay, like I want to suit up for, be healthy all this year. I got to get my, kind of get the body right for a full season. Was that something that you kind of targeted this off season?
I mean, the surgery on my thumb, it was kind of a freak accident just because I mean, getting my thumb jammed in second base on a dive. I usually dive one hand and one hand on, one hand off, and I got it caught under my own body weight going into the bag. I played 2 weeks on it and I did pretty good. It really hurt to swing and miss, and they told me if I didn't get surgery on it, that it would retract back in my thumb, and they had to pull it out and anchor it in. So I got it repaired right away. I missed 3 months. It was pretty long time for that. I guess finger stuff is pretty delicate when it comes to that. And um, I mean, other than my shoulder, which was torn 2 years before I even signed, um, I played a full season last year, and I don't feel I don't want to say I don't feel injury prone. It's because you're not really in control of that, but. Um, I post up, I have things that my body hurts every day, but I'm in the training room every day making sure that nothing creeps up on me and it turns into a serious issue. And we have great training, athletic room staff that, I mean, if you're not taking advantage of their like vast knowledge of the body, like you're not doing yourself a service. So, um, I haven't really been worried about that stuff because it's not something I can control.
Is it is it probably safe to say in 2025 we might see you with an oven mitt whenever you're on the bases?
Well, you'll see me bust out the box if I don't think if it's gonna go. That's how I did it because I usually wear oven mitt, but I uh, I mistakenly thought my line drive was gonna get out when I tore my thumb, so can't do that again.
Yeah, yeah, no, I always it always sucks, man, because there was I've talked to a few guys over the off season, and they would have some freak injuries last year and miss some time, like getting either I know Blaze Jordan in the Red Sox system got hit in the face once, he got hit in the hand, he missed like a month, and it's just like it's kind of just those freak things where it's like you can't really plan for that. It's like how do you really like prepare to like you said, jam your thumb on the bag, like trying to extend a play there. So, for you receiving an NRI for the first time in your career, you're obviously a young guy still. What did that mean to you to just be included with the major leaguers?
It what it felt like, it feels like freshman year in high school again, where it's like you're seeing all these starters that people on varsity and you're still on JV. That's all it is. Um, I'm just a freshman in JV and looking at all these starters, and feels exactly the same. But it's like I know the player that I can be, I know the player that I want to be. So it's like patiently wait your turn, and show them what you got, because eventually you're gonna be, that junior, the senior. It's going out on varsity. It's the same deal here. It's just a little bit. I'm not as bad as I was at freshman year. I have a little bit more skill, but I mean, it's just like getting exposure, and that's all it is that's how you get better and evolve in the game. Like the more exposure you get to the higher levels, the more the opportunity is there for you to take advantage and learn, so that you can be on also eventually.
Are you a big social media guy at all?
In what aspect? Like looking my name up or like posting?
I've seen well, a little bit of both. Obviously I talk to some guys that, they might not admit it, but I think they know what's said out there. They might search their name, like things like that. Like are you one of those guys that's kind of like you, maybe you have a good game, maybe something happens and you're just like, I gotta see what some of these Philly fans are saying about me. Do you ever do this?
Yeah, when I get bored or late night when I'm laying down in my bed, I'm like, let's see what's going on. Like I type my name in on Twitter, and most of the time it's something where I just either don't agree with, or I'm just like, mother fricker, dude. Like I wish I didn't freaking look my name up. But it's also as damaging to play good and look your name up and look at all these great things that people say about you. That's almost more damaging than the bad things said about you. Because the bad things you can be like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna prove them wrong. But the good things, like you start fluffing yourself up, and next thing you know, next day, that whatever you did yesterday is gone. What was the point of you looking you up and fluffing yourself up on your own? Now you're puffing your chest up, and this game's gonna punch you in your chest, and it's gonna cave it back in.
Yeah, obviously I do get that aspect, and I always tell guys, I'm like, I don't know how some of you guys, have a Twitter account, or even sometimes they're guys that are active posting on Instagram, and you obviously get a lot of fans like commenting and all that, and it's just like I don't know how some of you guys do it. Just see this like I think Google or searching your name on Twitter is pretty dangerous. Like it's you just never know what somebody's gonna say, but obviously the good and the bad that comes with it. Is it still kind of cool though to see like a lot of Phillies fans maybe get exposure to you for one of the first times, this spring? Like some of these guys could be watching spring training games and see you out there and see you doing well, and they're just like, oh, okay, I know this name now. Is that? I feel like that's kind of a cool feeling though, to kind of be exposed to the Philly fans for the first time.
It's awesome. Like especially especially playing well and then saying good things about you, because if you don't play well, they're gonna also let you know. And that's what I love about Philly fans is they keep you accountable, and then they lift you up maybe a little too much when you play good. So it's kind of like a peak and a really hard drop. But um, I love it. Their intensity and how much they love this game, that keeps me on my toes, and it keeps me not wanting to let them down or do something stupid. So I'm grateful for it.
All right, I got a couple more questions for you before I let you slide. So obviously Philly has been a pretty good team at the MLB level for the last few seasons, and even the minor league level. Let's just throw that out there as well. But they've had some very good competitive teams over the last few years, and that outfield group that you're sharing there in big league camp, with the guys like Nick Castellanos, and I guess we'll throw in Kyle Schwarber as well. But even though he DHs a lot, but still an outfielder. You got Brandon Marsh, you got Max Kepler, and I know I'm forgetting a few of the names there in big league camp, but you know you being around those guys obviously have a ton of experience all around you. What is one thing that you've learned from them? Doesn't even have to be on the field. Like, what have you learned from maybe how they prep off the field or anything that they do?
they all have their own routine and they know what they're doing. They all know what they have to do and they know what's going to help them on the field. So it's all very, very structured to them, and they have their own routines. And that's very important when you go bad and when you go good. Because if you don't have your own type of routine, it's easy to just fall into some type of rut where you just don't know what's going on. Where if you get to the field at a certain time and you do this at a certain time and it's very consistent, that discipline, you do your early work, you do your routines hitting wise, and you never stray from that. Like, I think that that's part of being a big leaguer. And um, that pays dividends also,
So I ask this question to a lot of guys, and I always have to like kind of readjust it after I ask it because sometimes people are, sometimes people aren't. But for you yourself, are you a guy that is into like setting goals, whether it's like statistic or physical? Like, do you do any of that like over the course of the season or spring training, off season? Are you into like goal setting?
Yeah. I've always been a a big goal setter and a big, I don't want to say talker, but I want to put my goals out there and let people know that that's what I'm going for. Um and also when I say it, am I believing it? Um but most importantly, where my life shifted for the better when I got drafted by the Phillies and everything started shifting in my favor was when I gave it up to Jesus Christ. I gave my life to Christ. I did everything so that I was trying to conform to his will rather than my will, because I played better, in my opinion, at junior college when I won all these, player of the year for state of Florida, and then I hit 400, and I was just like, yes, I did everything that I was supposed to do in order to get what I wanted. I'm very glad that I didn't get what I wanted because wasn't ready. I wasn't ready spiritually, and that right there, like I will write down my goals and I will put it in prayer and supplication to Jesus Christ that if it's His will, and I plead that it's His will, so that mine conforms to Him, so that I'm not going off of my own ego and pride. I still goal set how I want because I still have desires, but if you chase after Jesus Christ and you chase after God, He's going to give you the desires of your heart. That's not going to hurt you because it's given from Him. So I do that. I have the craziest goals, and people that are closest to me know that. But I try to conform to the Lord's will, because if it doesn't happen, I'm content, and if it does happen, then praise God.
So I did want to follow up on that. Obviously you're a guy that's pretty big into your faith, and I feel like it is very important to you. How I guess when did you kind of start your spiritual journey? I guess has that been a recent thing, or was that been more of like it's been there for a while?
February of 2022, I was baptized in the name of the Lord, and ever since then, before then, I really just, I knew I loved God, or I said I loved God, but my actions didn't reflect my words, and that's pretty dangerous. But um, more dangerous if you claim that you know Christ, and you're in the Word, and then your words don't line up with your actions. Like before, I was unknowingly ignorant in the faith. I knew that I believed in God, and I mean things happened, and I just didn't know why, because I was doing things on my own, and then all of a sudden I start living for someone and something bigger than me, and the creator of the universe, that person that provides like breath in my lungs, and now everything starts going good. um it's not by accident. So every day I try to fight to honor him, because everything works together for good to those that love Christ. So
Yeah, I always like asking, kind of just the background on stories like that because, obviously you have a lot of guys around baseball who are very big into their faith, or, you have guys that are new dads or whatever, and it puts things into perspective a little bit. You're playing for something bigger than just the game of baseball. Like everything's a little bigger than just throwing a baseball around, hitting a ball, whatever it is. Like there's bigger objectives out there, and I think that's so important to have something like that that you're so, I guess, faithful in, and I love that. I got one question left for you before I let you slide here. It goes back to my question I asked you about, like, setting goals and all that. So for you, and obviously you're off to a very, very, very good start this spring. What would you say would be a successful spring for you? Like, what is the outcome of that? Whether it's, making a certain, if it's making the AAA team, making whatever, or is it hitting so many home runs? Is it posting certain stats? Like, what would you define as a successful spring for yourself?
That I remember how I went feeling, like how I went into camp, and knowing that facing Garrett Crochet today, or if I was on a different team and I was had to face Zach Wheeler or Jesus Luzardo, that because of the routine that I have now and how confident I am in that, knowing that I can do that every single day, and if I am like, I am so confident that I can go in there, I'll take an AB off him and be productive, then I don't know what more I can really ask for. Like making, it's cool to make AAA. It's cool to break with the team opening day and be a big leaguer. That's awesome. But you're gonna get your chance when you deserve it, and when it's really time for you to shine, you're gonna get your chance. So you just gotta trust that. But the controllables, I wanna be just arrogantly confident that it doesn't matter who's on the mound, lefty, righty, superstar, minor leaguer, it doesn't matter who, that I am comfortable and confident, and I'm just gonna rake. Like that's the feeling that I wanna, even if I'm going bad, like I have my set routine. I have the knowledge that I got from K Long and Schwarber, and it's just when you have that, nothing can stop you. It's just inevitable for your success to come.
All right, last follow-up question here. You just mentioned seeing Garrett Crochet, and I think he was pumping in 99 today. What was it like kind of seeing him on the mound against you guys?
I didn't start, so I didn't face him. But I mean, I don't know, he was like 6'8", pumping 99. I'm sure his release height's really, gets up on you,
Oh yeah,
and he's throwing fuel. So, I mean, that's something you gotta kind of practice, like pump up the machine up to 10, 10, 10, and put it up on a freaking a ladder so you can get that release height that he's throwing at. So I'm sure it's not a completely comfortable at bat, but it's that type of stuff where you just gotta, stay in it and try to freaking battle it out.
absolutely. Yeah, especially for a left-handed hitter, I feel like facing a guy like that is probably not the most comfortable at bat out there. But all right, Gabriel, I appreciate all the time. Obviously, you're on a very good stretch right now, and wish you the best of luck this spring. But thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.